Hello and welcome to my channel, Mysterious Divinos Podcast. Tonight, we journey back in time into a story told over 2,000 years ago. On the surface, it seems like a simple little tale, but just beneath the surface, there's a profound warning about time, about readiness, and about eternity itself. Let's dive in and explore the parable of the 10 virgins. So we have to ask ourselves, is this really just a quaint story about a wedding celebration, or is it something far more urgent? I think you'll find it's presented as a life-changing warning, one that has been whispered across the centuries, just for us. You see, Jesus had this incredible way of speaking in parables. He used them to unlock the deepest truths of the kingdom of God, but only for those whose hearts were truly open to hearing them. This isn't just a story. It's really a glimpse into eternity, that one single moment that separates unimaginable joy from crushing sorrow. It ends with a locked door and desperate cries in the darkness. To really get it, we have to go there. Picture this, the quiet, rolling hills of Judea. The night sky is just a blanket of stars. It's here that Jesus begins to weave this incredible tale for his closest followers. Now, for us to understand this, we need a little bit of cultural context. In Jewish tradition, a wedding was a massive celebration, maybe the biggest symbol of joy you could imagine. And these 10 young women, they had one single, absolutely crucial job: keep their lamps lit, so they'd be ready to welcome the bridegroom and light his way to the feast. But right from the very beginning, Jesus introduces a division, a fundamental difference that's going to seal the fate of every single person in this story. He draws a line between two groups, separating them by a single, simple choice. And here it is, that one critical difference. 5 of them were wise. They didn't just bring their lamps, they were smart enough to bring extra flasks of oil. They actually planned for delay. They were meticulously prepared. But the other 5, well, they were foolish. They brought their lamps, sure, but that's it. No reserve, no backup plan, nothing. And this really gets to the heart of the story's tension. I mean, think about it for a second. They all had the same invitation. They all had the same duty. So why would half of them prepare so diligently, while the other half just acted with such carelessness, just assuming everything would go exactly as planned? So the night just drags on. That festive energy starts to fade away. The bridegroom was delayed, much, much longer than anyone had thought. And in that long, quiet wait, anticipation slowly turned into pure exhaustion. Now here's what's so fascinating. Everyone fell asleep, both the wise and the foolish. The waiting was just too long, and their human nature just took over. On the surface, you couldn't even tell them apart anymore. They all looked exactly the same in their slumber, just moments before the moment of truth arrived. And then, all of a sudden, at midnight, the deepest, darkest part of the night, a cry just shatters the silence. "The bridegroom is here! Go out to meet him!" And instantly, it's just a frantic scramble. Everyone jolts awake, hearts pounding, shadows dancing as they all rush to get ready. And right here, in this moment, the consequence of their earlier choice becomes terrifyingly clear. While the wise are calmly refilling their lamps, the foolish start to panic. Their flames are sputtering, dwindling into darkness. "Give us some of your oil," they pleaded. "Our lamps are going out." But the wise virgins refused. Not out of cruelty, you understand, but out of necessity. They told them to go and buy their own. But just as the foolish virgins were hurrying away, the bridegroom arrived. The moment they had all been waiting for was finally here. Those who were ready, they went inside with him to the wedding feast, into this hall just filled with light and music and joy. And then the door was shut. Such a simple phrase, but with the most devastating finality. When the foolish virgins finally got back, they pounded on that locked door. You can almost hear the desperation, the panic in their voices as they cry out, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But the reply that came from within the feast, well, it's just bone-chilling. The bridegroom says, "Assuredly, I say to you, I do not know you." The time for preparation was over. The door was closed, and for them, it was too late. So this is where the story pivots to its real message. Jesus was revealing that this was no ordinary wedding tale. No, this was a profound truth about spiritual readiness and the urgency of the hour we live in.
First, let's look at the bridegroom. This figure, of course, represents Jesus himself, the Son of Man, who promises to return for his people, but at an hour that no one expects. You see, the delay wasn't an accident. It was a test of endurance and of faithfulness.
And the oil? The oil. This is the absolute heart of the parable. The oil represents true spiritual readiness. It's a living faith, a heart filled with the Spirit, a life lived in daily obedience to God. And the most critical lesson here is that this oil, this readiness, it couldn't be borrowed or bought at the last minute. It's personal. So what's the core message when you boil it all down? Well, the parable teaches that our preparedness is a personal responsibility. You simply can't borrow it from someone else. And because the return is totally unexpected, the only solution is to live in a state of constant vigilance. Jesus ends the whole story with this direct command. It's not just for his disciples back then, but for every single generation that would follow. Watch, therefore. It's a call to be alert, to live with purpose, to nurture our faith every single day so that we are ready at any moment. And this is what brings this ancient story crashing right into our lives right here, right now. The parable tells us that the door to that wedding feast is, for now, still open, but one day it will be shut forever. So the question it leaves us with is simple, but it demands an answer. Are you ready? You know, the call isn't to live in fear, but to live in faithful anticipation. So in a world that is just full of distractions, let this story be a quiet reminder. Keep your lamp burning. If you liked this explainer and it gave you something to think about, please subscribe, leave a like, and comment on what you liked most. And if you think someone else needs to hear this, please share the video. Thanks for joining us.